You guys ready to party? Political party. We have the Democratic Party chair, Sarah Thomas Nutty Dog, joined by Senator Tony Atta, who real quick, Senator, you're the vice chair, right?
I'm the former chair, so I'm the immediate past chairman.
That works for me. Board. Right on. He's the former. So Juan Carlos is on the plane, and there were concerns about whether or not the Wi-Fi was strong enough to get him on the Zoom. So thank you for coming on, Senator. Sarah, thanks. Good morning.
Good morning.
And we'll just go with ladies first. Sarah, we saw the press release from the Democrat Party, RE, the governor's State of the Island address. Bree, what did it say? Something about Anafa Malik?
The spirit of Anafa Malik thrives, I believe is what it was titled. And then it went into a recap of the speech.
Right on. So obviously, Sarah, you guys were pleased with the governor's address last night, right?
Absolutely. I thought it was nothing short of being incredible. I think she was very comprehensive. She covered a lot of the areas, and I think she spoke well to all the different sectors of our community, you know, the nonprofits, business. She referred to what was going on with the federal government, the local government. And I think that was important. It was important for our people to hear what has been going on in case they don't know, they don't feel anything different from a year ago. What were some of the highlights of 2020? And so I know for me as a person in the field of human services and as a mother and a grandmother and just a resident of Guam, I felt inspired. I felt consoled. I felt like, you know, things are happening, things are moving forward. I felt more optimistic after listening to her last night, even though I'm you know, very close to the administration and of course the party chair. I really did feel like it was communicated quite well and that there was greater camaraderie within the different sectors in our community than I had thought maybe from a year ago. So that was a good thing. That was a good thing. So that's my initial feedback and reaction to last night's address. Senator
Atta.
Hi, good morning, Sarah. Good morning, Chris, Bree, and everyone. I think the state of the island, I think the governor actually missed an opportunity to address the people moving forward. I think when we look at the State of the Island address, she could have touched on what has happened this past year, but I think she should have really focused and concentrated on what she plans to do this coming year. Because people are looking for hope. They want to be optimistic, but they need that hope to ensure that they'll be able to provide for their families, be able to have a job, be able to put food on the table, be able to put gas in their cars. And I think the governor could have actually focused on what she plans to do. I mean, when you look at what we have coming in, all the federal stimulus monies that came in over the past several months has helped our island move forward. If you were listening to the SCS hearing we had the other day, Lester Carlson said it best that had it not been for the federal monies coming in, our government would be in peril. So, you know, we need to give hope and that optimism of what's coming, not what we have been through, because everyone has known what we've been through. They felt it. They felt it in their homes. They felt it in their pocketbooks. They felt it in their jobs. So I think that she really missed that opportunity to move forward the agenda on how she's going to bring our economy back to where it was pre-pandemic times.
What is your response to that, Sarah? Do you feel that it really should have been a year in review or looking at a year forward?
I think she did both, Senator, and those that are listening today. I think she did both. She did a review, and if recall some of the highlights. She talked about what was going to be different with business licenses. She talked about the new hospital. She talked about things that are going to happen this year and going forward. So, I mean, for me, I thought she did a pretty good job talking about both what happened last year, what were some of the things, and despite the pandemic, despite that we were in like a state of community paralysis, so to speak, I think there was some real action. There were some real things that were achieved with the federal government, local government, and just all the way around. So if you look around our community, we're doing quite well. We're opening up slowly. Look at the number of our cases, our CAR score. It's incredible. People from throughout the region that I communicate with and globally are just so amazed at how we were able to deal with the pandemic. I'm just glad that at this time in our history that we have someone that's a healthcare provider, a compassionate woman that has the knowledge and the ability to bring our community forward. I just can't think of anybody else that could have done a better job considering what we've gone through last year. And as a business person, looking forward to how do we develop our economy this year and in the coming years as we come out of this pandemic very carefully. So it's a good balance of taking a look at healthcare and looking at our economy. And that's such an incredible feat when you think about it, balancing the health and welfare of our people and trying to stimulate and support the economy. So I'm just pleased that she's at the helm, and I think she has a pretty good handle on the way forward and next steps for Guam.
Well, it sounds like you guys watched two different speeches.
Yeah, maybe, huh?
What speech were you watching, Tony, Senator?
It was the same exact speech. This pandemic was, never seen before, right? In at least in my time, right? In 100 years was the last pandemic of this magnitude that's worldwide. So yeah, absolutely. We have to thank our frontliners, and that's what the governor did. Give praise to our frontliners and all those who made a difference in the lives and where we're at today. I think it was a collaborative effort between public and private sector because the private sector actually carried a lot of the weight. The government came out and did what they can, and the private sector picked up the slack. So it was an effort of both the public and private. And moving forward, that's what we need to do. Is not just the public and private, but now the administration and the legislative branches working together to ensure that our people can move forward and have that hope that everybody looks for in the near future.
Absolutely. I couldn't have said it better, Senator Tony. You're right.
There was one part that I had to kind of chuckle at was when the governor was, because there was a part in her address where she was talking about the private sector, and she had mentioned that she had placed private sector leaders, I think, in her economic.
I'm not sure which part you're talking
economic working group or whatever. And so this is the group that when we had the members on, they were saying like, yeah, we haven't met in 2 months. So I thought that was a little interesting. And then I feel like in listening to the governor's speech, I was wondering, like, did we go through the same pandemic? Because she described a collaborative relationship with the private sector. And I want to say that we had so many private sector people on throughout the pandemic, and I don't know if they would agree that it was really collaborative. Senator Adams? Or anybody?
Yeah. No, absolutely. And I think that when you look at what has happened this past year, I mean, I believe that there could have been a greater involvement of the private sector. the meetings and things like that, that's all in the hands of the government, right? And I think they could have been more transparent, more accountable during this pandemic time, especially when people were looking for leadership. Leadership should have been there for the people, but leadership was absent. I mean, yes, the pandemic, took toll on everyone, and everyone, we were going through it. We didn't know what to expect at the very onset of this pandemic. But as the months went on and everyone adapted to what is going on, they could have came out and started holding frequent meetings in our economy, in the economic stability of our island. And this talk should have been happening 6 months ago, and not when we're looking at opening up our economy in May, 2 months from now, right? So all this talk should have been happening months ago, because we need to ensure that when we move forward and we have a plan in place, which there is no plan in place, that it's going to go smoothly. I mean, when you look at when GVB came before us talking about tourism, and I asked the question, we're still at level 4. The CDC still recognizes Guam as level 4, no travel. How are we addressing that? And the last letter that was wrote to the CDC was in August of last year. So I think communication with the CDC should have been going out already, and I hope it has, because I brought that up about a week ago. So I hope that communication has went out to the CDC to address that issue.
The bottom line is that we were in a state of crisis. We're coming out of it. And it's really every one of us that need to take the initiative to make resolutions, to make a contribution, to take care of ourselves, our health, our family, and our community. And so really, to me, the question is, what have each of us done? What have we done to contribute to that? I understand the governor provides the leadership for it. And I would say there's quite a bit. I'm just amazed at the people, the frontliners, but the people in the government that have continued to toe the line. And I think the relationship with the legislature in collaborating to deal with it. But, we've got to ask ourselves, what have we done? What did we do? And I think that's important. Where were the ideas? Where were the contributions, to helping our community come out of it? I mean, it's easy for us to, sit back and say, she didn't do this, she didn't do that. I get that. And there, I'm sure, are things that might have been missed. But there's quite a bit that has been done. And I ask everyone out there, please reflect on what is it that we have done individually in our families and our organizations, and what is it that we're going to do, because we cannot expect her to do all of it. I think we need to give her our ideas, and if you feel like your ideas have not been heard, I would suggest you put it out there. You make sure that your ideas for strategies for recovery for our island happen. It's not no one person, no one entity or sector has all the answers to this unprecedented situation that we're all in. We've got to really get a grasp on that. This is really a critical moment in our history, and it's going to be telling about how we came together to really make an impact on our community. How did we get out of it? What's the stories that are going to be written about how we dealt with this pandemic?
Right on. Senator Ada, anything in closing here before we move on? We've got a few people behind you guys.
Yeah, well, I hope that, in the months coming, even in the weeks coming, as we approach the budget session, that, we work together with the administration. And I think that's the goal of everyone, is to work together, because like Sarah said, not one person has all the ideas, and working together is the way we're going to be able to move forward. We have $661 million coming in assistance. The president signs the bill. We have an additional 57 million in EITC reimbursement. And how is it that we can work together to ensure that money goes out to our people and in boosting up our general fund, because the pandemic funds, the federal government is only going to last for so long. And we need to start building up our general fund today and not wait until 6 months from now to build it up. We need to start today so that we can ensure that we have a healthy government come the next fiscal year.
Senator Ada, I did have a question for you because this was actually a debate that went down here on the link pre-election. And, you know, the governor, during her address, she basically said one of the initiatives she wants to see is unemployment insurance. And it would be funded, I think, through low interest federal loans backed by what's owed to us in compact impact.
Oh, yeah. That was interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Good luck with that.
Yeah, when you recall back in last year when we did talk about that, the Democrat majority controlled the legislature and they controlled the administration. They could have done something since last year and not wait until this year. We could have started that process 9 months ago and see where we're at today. You know, moving forward, I'm open to listen to all sides. You know, but again, this is controlled by the Democrat majority and the Democrat administration. So, you know, where are we going to be at? Are they going to call us to the table because they already have 8 on their side so that we can give our input, or is it just going to go down bipartisan, partisan party lines? So that's what we got to look at. And I hope that if they bring it up, that they call us to the table so that we can all sit down and look how we're all going to be able to benefit, not just the individual, but the government and also the private sector.
And Sarah, I just had one question for you because the governor did talk about homelessness, and you're obviously the head of.
Are you the homeless
OHAB.
czar?
You're the head of OHAB. She did mention the global dorms. 3 people were able to transition out through the wraparound services. I think 15 people are on deck next. But she did also mention a $3 million grant, I believe, from the Department of the Interior. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yes, there was monies received. I think we were just advised last week. So I'm going into meetings today to talk about that. So I don't have much information on that, but it is definitely going to go to shelters. And that's really important. For those of you that are familiar with the current situation, it's fine for now, but we need to look down the road and see what we could do to provide, you know, a really fitting and appropriate facility for those who find themselves in a homeless situation. And the numbers are, you know, have been 2,000, an estimated 2,000 over the years. And now it's estimated to be as high as 6,000. And these are individuals who are street homeless, but also those that live in severely substandard housing or in uninhabitable locations. So this is good news. The planning is in place now. We're looking at that. And I'll get back to you when I learn a little bit more about how we're going to expend that. But, you know, it comes at a good time and it's very needed. So thank you for bringing that up. We're excited about it.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the COVID silver linings is that we were finally able to kind of make a dent and forward progress on this homeless issue. So, Sarah, thank you, Senator Ada, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll see you guys.
You guys have a good day.
You
Have a good day,
too.
Sarah.
You too.